Tonight on the FTW podcast, did Sting survive the brutal hammer shots?
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, that was probably the stiffest stuff we've seen in a while. So, obviously, we got Sting possibly with a hand injury. I like that we've basically assaulted a man with his kidneys. Let's get the ER people to just walk him out.
And that was the fail for Impact.
And it looks like Christopher Daniels got the storyline of his life.
I mean, we talked about this before. You know, Daniels is great in the ring, but outside of, if he's not involved in a storyline with AJ Styles in one way, shape, or form, he doesn't have much of a storyline.
AJ versus Christopher Daniels, 5,000. Did Survivor Series live up to expectations, or did it blow Turning Point out of the water?
For the last couple of months, we've been basically having, the TNA pay-per-view versus the WWE pay-per-view of the month, trying to see which one was better. With how Survivor Series is going, even though that's one of the big four, it has a lot to live up to if it wants to be anywhere close to how awesome Turning Point was.
Plus, the return of Lee.
I'm really glad Lee's here.
And just how have they progressed the Jerry Lawler saga? Is it still distasteful?
Which was more distasteful? The footage of Lawler being resuscitated or Heyman's fake heart attack?
You know what? They have the footage, and they didn't have to air it. But if Lawler was like, fuck it, go for it, air it, then why wouldn't you? It's not like Lawler died. I know that sounds incredibly hard.
And just who is AJ sleeping with? Is it the name that no one wanted Garvin to say?
Here's my alternative. The thing is that, they were playing these voicemails with the name John in it, but they never said Cena. So what if there's two things. What if it's quiet? What if
don't say what I think you're about to say.
What about John Morrison? Oh,
damn it, Garvin! Come on. Alright, everybody, welcome to the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. Tonight is episode number 140, coming to you live on November 20th, 2012. Gobble gobble. Tonight we talk Survivor Series, the road to final resolution, and all that our thoughts and yours are in the week that was with WWE and TNA. My name is Harrison, and with me tonight is our Dizzle Rob. Say hello, Rob.
The hell was that, man?
It's Ebonics, boy. Joe, say hello, Joe.
This one's for Scott. Dildo chainsaw.
Dildo copter. Lee, say hello, Lee.
I'm not associated with the two people who just talked.
Whatever. And Garvin is manning the boards. If you're listening through iTunes, YouTube, or through your favorite podcast player, make sure to check out ftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in upcoming discussions. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook. All those links are right there on the website, ftwpodcast.com. For those of you listening tonight here on ftwlive.com, hey, super pumped you can make it. Live chat, hooligans represent. We're gonna dip a toe into the FTW draft before we jump over to TNA. For those of you not aware of the draft, you can check out ftwdraft.com. We're really good when it comes to buying URLs. For those involved in the up and up, it's time to talk playoffs. Apparently, Garvin finagled the math a little bit. He got his calendar wrong. So we still have another week left of regular season play before we head straight into the playoffs. So, Joe, you still have a chance to come back and beat Mike for that last slot. It's slim chance, but you could pull it off. Where we stand right now is... I'm sorry, Lee?
I'm just laughing. You just have a slim shot because he won't do it.
Well, he's got...
You know what, Lee? It doesn't matter if I'm going to do it or not, because I want to ensure that Team FTW wins. I'd like to make a trade.
Oh, well, let me do the points, and then you can make the trade.
All right.
Team listeners, you guys got 642.5 points to our vastly superior and much more menacing and impressive 739. So if you do make a statue of us, make sure we're topless. Lee, you have 153.5 points. Mike's got 118. Team listeners, you guys are on a lock for the playoffs. It's Radio Influence at 108 with Diva Jill also tied at 108. Connor's got 95. I gotta be honest. Given his team, it's gonna be hard for him to come back on that. Joe, you got 105.5 points. Garvin's got 94. It's not looking good for you, buddy. You're gonna be out of the playoffs. So really, right now, we're kind of looking at Joe maybe beating Mike for the playoffs. Connor's got an outside chance, but 13 points with his team is gonna be tough. Anyway, trade. Joe, what do you got?
I'm going to propose a trade. Lee, I really need Christian, so I'm willing to trade you Ryback for Christian and ensure that Team FTW wins.
Lee, take that.
Why do you need Christian? Just curiously.
Take the trade.
Just curious.
It doesn't matter.
Why Christian? Because Christian's your lowest scoring guy. You can score with Sheamus and Sin Cara.
Deal.
You can't take Jeff Hardy because you still have to have one guy left.
Okay, deal.
In TNA.
There we are.
Done.
Boom.
Done.
And I'm gonna try and trade Mike Cena just because I think having Mike and Lee battling, just sniping at each other, is gonna be pretty awesome. And
I would be very happy if you did trade him, if you did trade Cena, because Cena does next to nothing on Raw every week, so that's fine by me. You trade
well,
him.
he's my biggest point game.
Not anymore.
Well, Big Show's pretty good too. I don't know. I want to toss Mike something. I was texting him before last week to figure something out. All right, so that's the draft, team listeners. God, you guys are already behind the ball. We are in the lead, and we are cementing our position. We are an unstoppable force of unified machinery, fist-pumping anger. All right, TNA. We're going to devote a little bit of time to TNA here. Rob, here we are. TNA has been kind of on a tear lately. We still got you know what I want to talk to you about? Really, the Aces and Eights thing. The way it's been going lately, I mean, are you happy? The reason I want to talk to you is because you're the one who really pointed out the fact that it seems like they're making it up to week. And there's just more and more evidence compounding that. What happened on Impact and what's been happening lately? Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I've not seen anything at all from the Aces and Eights storyline that indicates that they have any kind of a plan, that they're developing a plan. It's literally like, what are we going to do? Oh, hey, this will be a good idea.
Well, it's not like they pull it out of a hat.
No, they didn't pull it out of a hat. They're throwing darts at a wall.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Put a bunch of ideas on a cork board and just whip darts at it. Okay, that's fine. Now, where do you see, I mean, for Aces and Eights, I mean, where do you see it going? Do you see more reveals? I mean, we got to get to the point when, they keep talking about the fact that everyone we've seen so far is an underling. We haven't seen the real leader of Aces and Eights. They gotta reveal it. So just take off your cynical underwear, set it aside, and tell me realistically, as a fan of TNA and as a fan of wrestling, who do you want it to be?
Want, strong word. I don't know. I really can't think of anybody
that would make
off
you
the top of my head that I want it to be. Well,
I'd say Bully Ray.
I don't know if I'd say. I don't know if I'd say want, but I think Eric Bischoff makes the most sense as being kind of like the mastermind behind it. I hate saying that.
Wait, hang on a second. Now, why do you hate saying that?
Because the problem with putting Eric Bischoff as the mastermind behind Aces and Eights makes Aces and Eights just another NWO clone.
See, now I disagree with that, Rob. I say if it is Eric Bischoff, then I would say all this leading up to what we've had right now is Eric Bischoff telling Vince McMahon, son, this is how you do an invasion angle. And you have to look at it, names aside and the importance of it, where we had WCW being bought out, how important that was. The storyline itself, I gotta say, Aces and Eights was far superior to the WCW invasion storyline that they did.
Well, anything is superior to the WCW invasion story.
I told you to goddamn simple.
Claire Lynch. Claire Lynch.
Shut up, Joe.
I can't think of storylines that the WCW invasion angle beat out. The finger poke of doom, for instance.
But you get my point, right?
Shivani calling out the results of Raw that was taped.
Yeah.
Invasion angle beat out both of those. So I can't say that's the worst.
But you get my point. But you get my point, right? I mean, the idea that it does feel like something that Bischoff would do. Would just go,
Right.
we're gonna we're gonna do it.
You do make a good point, and it actually could, if TNA manages to get a plan behind it and get a plan that really separates it from the NWO cloud, it would be a great use for Eric Bischoff because he plays a damn good heel.
Yeah.
And he's damn good at organizing and masterminding a group of people and getting them to work together.
Yeah, my hope with the Aces and Eights thing is if they do incorporate Bischoff, that what would separate from NWO and from WCW is if they start bringing in the actual business side of the wrestling side of things. So you see cameramen involved, you see referees involved, you see referees that are loyal to Aces and Eights calling TNA matches. So that way it's like an actual schism. But the point being that it's like a branded actual schism inside the company to where Bischoff is like, these are my loyal guys inside this company. It's like a hostile takeover type of thing. And we get to see the boardroom aspect of it. And I think it would be Bischoff basically telling Vince with a big middle finger, this is how you should have done this and you screwed up.
Yeah. And we've seen hints of that already, like the cameraman that was working for Aces and Eights, the backstage staff that kidnapped Sting and Hogan.
The only problem I have with the cameraman that was working for Aces and Eights is it wasn't really like the my vision of it, I would mark out like crazy if it was a pay-per-view, it was a main event storyline, and it's Aces and Eights versus TNA, and Bischoff, like something happens to Aces and Eights is on the back foot, and then you see like 3 cameramen just set down their cameras and walk out the arena. Because they're
Rob,
Aces.
I gotta ask.
I think that'd be great. Go on, Joe.
I've gotta ask. What if it's Don West?
If it's Don West, I will beat my head against the table.
Shocking.
Crazy deals! I'm just trying to think. I've been trying to think while you've been talking about it, like, who else could they use, actually put in that place besides Bischoff?
Well, Jeff Jarrett.
What, Gunner?
Yeah, Gunner. Well, Jeff Jarrett is the other name you can kind of toss around, but it doesn't, like Garvin has talked about this a lot too, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett,
It doesn't need to.
Jeff Jarrett, doesn't strike me as like the biker type guy where Eric Bischoff...
He also doesn't strike me as Mexican champion.
Well, that's fair. And at the same time, Jeff Jarrett
that's fair, Joe. That's fair.
But Jeff Jarrett also doesn't strike you as the mastermind type either. I mean, Jeff Jarrett really isn't known for his chess playing ability, if you get my drift. Whereas Bischoff has built a persona where that is what he is.
And going head to head with Hulk Hogan, Jeff Jarrett doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of doing that. Whereas Bischoff, who knows Hulk Hogan, does, and he knows Sting, so it would be a lot easier for.
Chat, that's awesome. No, I'm sorry. Chat wrote in, if Wes is the leader, please someone record Rob beating his head on the table.
We'll do that.
We will do that. The other idea that just popped in my head, leader of Aces and Eights, what if it's China, and then you bring in Sean Morley with Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan's entire attack isn't work? You've got a porn faction in there.
Really?
Damn it, Joe.
Just got no words.
Okay. Well, that's Aces and Eights. Let's move on to something else. I want to talk about Magnus for a little bit because, going into Turning Point, we were talking about Magnus being, the 80% of the way there. Like, he has a little bit of in-ring ability, has a little bit of mic work availability. He's just lacking that X factor. He's had the program with Samoa Joe, and that kind of got pivoted. I mean, Rob, where do you stand on Magnus? Do you still think he's got potential, or do you think that it's clear this guy just doesn't have it right now?
Well, first off, I think they used him well to help build up the Director of Chaos again. I mean, we saw another just brutal, God, I was holding my knees and wincing as they beat the crap out of him. It was So it's a good use of him to try to build up Aces and Eights as a viable threat, as them taking TNA superstars out. I still think he's got potential. I still think he can be a viable, like I said, superstar for TNA. Maybe with the time, maybe they're going to give him some time off and, I don't know, develop him a little bit more. Maybe work on his mic skills a bit. Just try to find some place to put him in where they can really maximize what he brings to the ring. And that's what TNA should be doing with him.
I don't know, man. I was really hot on him going into Turning Point, and I was with you 100% of the way, when it came to Magnus. And it just feels like, he's had his, I don't want to say his shot, but, we started to focus a lot of attention on that, and then it just doesn't feel like he's stepping up to it. Maybe you're right. Maybe you just gotta retool a little bit. We just gotta find his place. Maybe he does have potential, and we're just not seeing it. I don't know. Okay, so moving on.
Wait.
Sorry.
The other thing that this does is it does take Magnus away so that they can give him a bit of a break. Because right now, all we've seen is Magnus versus Samoa Joe. This allows them to kind of branch off, bring new people in for Samoa Joe, and give Magnus some time away so that when he does come back, he comes back more powerful and with like a solid feud and a solid footing. In something else, not just against Samoa Joe. And I think that's good for him.
They can find another spot to put him in. Maybe another superstar to match him up against. Maybe they bring him in, prepping him for the Bound for Glory Series tournament next year. There's a whole lot of things they can do with him.
Wow, you're saying a year ahead of time. With Magnus, though? I don't know. I can't see him thinking a year. Almost a year, 10 months. Down the line with someone like Magnus. I mean, that's... wow.
Like I said, it's an option that they could do with him. I'm not saying they're going to do it.
I think that's a little outside, though.
But kudos to TNA for actually carrying the injured player off.
As well as letting him walk on his own time.
Instead of walking his ass off. Hey, you just got your kneecaps broken. You can walk it, right?
Just ice it down. Ice it down, some Robitussin, you'll be fine. He isn't Sting. So there is that caveat. Alright. So, Bully and Brooke. Do you think that this is one of those things where we're starting to see the mixed tag division with knockouts, tag championship? Or is this more of a, what do you think about this one, Rob?
He's gonna put her through a table.
He is. No. Outside of Joe's comment, what I think this is I think
excellent
this
point,
is
Rob.
just a stupid attempt by TNA to try to formulate, competition for quote unquote power couple. And it's really starting to piss me off because this is one of the areas where TNA is starting to become a little more reality show than it is pro wrestling. And it's kind of irking me. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Skype's irking me. That's a fair point. I don't know if I agree with you 100% on that because I kind of like, I like different. I'm always a fan of different, and this feels different to me. And I like how that, I like kind of where they're, it doesn't really feel like they're committing whole hog to it though. They're kind of feeling it out, which is kind of cool. Another thing that I want to talk about, I got three more things I want to talk about, then we'll move on. Styles and Daniels.
5,000.
You can't complain about they're so good together, Rob.
I'm not complaining about it.
Steak and potatoes again. It's like, no, steak and potatoes are awesome. That's why it's always teamed.
Yeah.
Yes, but you can only take so much bacon before you want to kill yourself. Or you catch diabetes.
Okay, we're talking about steak and potatoes. Where the hell does the bacon come from, Joe?
Because it's so fucking popular right now.
I am, honestly, I am tired of bacon. Like, not just like the internet bacon, but like eating actual bacon. It's just...
What the fuck happened to this podcast? What happened?
We're talking about food now.
It all goes back to Harrison putting a picture of fucking the dude from Mythbusters and the dude from some cooking show on Facebook.
Joe, I'm sorry. That was you know what? Never mind. We're moving on. I am so upset with you that you didn't know who Alton Brown was. Anyway, Rob, here, I mean, AJ and Daniels, come on, man. I know it's like the 50 millionth time that we've seen it, but it's like, dude, it's like Undertaker and, Shawn Michaels. It's gonna be amazing.
The first time and the second time just kind of dragged.
My main concern with, Styles and Daniels is, are they going to be able to come up with anything new? Over the course of TNA, they've done everything. They've even fought the Iron Man match. TNA is rapidly running out of things to do with this program, and it's really putting a lot of pressure on AJ Styles and Chris Daniels to really come up with something special to keep fans interested.
And I mean, I say this in a joking manner, but I think it's almost what they're going to have to do. Especially with AJ not being able to be in the title picture for a year, one of them is going to have to literally die in the ring. It's going to be a stipulation because you're right. There's nothing they can do. They've done everything.
They have not
only
done
thing they haven't.
Pepper on a pole.
Okay, but nobody's got a dog named Pepper that they can kill and grind up and put on a pole.
We'll soon see it that way.
Maybe they'll grind up Claire Lynch.
Oh, Joe.
I'm sure it already looks like.
All right, moving on.
No, but I mean, you're right, Rob. I mean, they've done everything. The only thing do they pull a page out of WCW and do that triple cage thing?
Oh God, that was awful.
Either that or the only other match I can think of off the top of my head that they haven't done before is like Texas Death Match, which most states ban.
Or an evening gown match.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
I mean, seriously, there's
Mud
nothing
wrestling.
left.
Bra and panties.
Bra and panties match.
Wait a second.
Between AJ and Christopher Daniels.
I'd be honest.
It's not like they can do a hair versus hair match unless they go below the belt.
Joe, you make fun of the bra and panties match. That's worth $30. All right. So yeah, AJ versus Daniels. But the thing is, come on. It is Final Resolution, the pay-per-view. TNA names their pay-per-views for a reason. They use that name for a purpose. Maybe this is the final resolution between these two. I don't know.
I think that's what they're gearing up. I mean, that's kind of the feeling I got as I watched the segment was, that this is going to be the last time that these two meet, at least for quite some time. So, yeah. I really think that TNA is going to try to push the angle that this is going to be the match that settles their feud once and for all.
Okay. All right, last thing I want to talk about before I'm going to take one listener thing, run down the card, and then we'll move on to WWE. The Mickie James, the triumphant return of Mickie James to get a major push, and now she's the number one contender for the strap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm conflicted.
I have a few problems with this. First and foremost, with the exception of ODB, every woman in that battle royal had not been on TNA for at least 2 months. So it was really all of them making the big return. They basically made a big deal over Mickie James though, because she, according to TNA and everything, she had surgery, had something removed.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. So she was coming back. So she was coming back from medical leave, gets the number one contendership. I don't mind that too much. I can understand that. A lot of wrestling companies do that. The problem with Mickie James, and I'm a fairly big fan of hers, but the problem with Mickie James is she's starting to become the female John Cena. Mickie James wants title shot. Mickie James gets title shot. Mickie James has a moveset of like 5 or 6 moves that you see every day.
5 moves of doom.
Yeah. And first and foremost, she needs to stop doing the thighs press off of the top turnbuckle. That move was never meant to be an aerial move, and she's going to destroy her knees if she keeps doing it. I am, however, excited that they've got her using the Mick kick as her finishing move again. Because it means that there's a lot less chance of her, crippling a female wrestler with that DDT move that she had been botching horribly recently.
Yeah.
And also because I think the Mick kick is her best finisher. It looks awesome. It's one of those finishers that she can hit out of anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it really works well for her as a character, I think.
Yeah. I'm just conflicted because it's like you're saying, female John Cena. All right, Rude versus Storm part here. You want to talk about million? Here we are. Bobby Roode beats James Storm because #1 contender for the World Championship, which he's going to face Jeff Hardy at Final Resolution. Real quick to touch on this. How do you feel about this? Just real quick. How do you feel about this going into Final Resolution? Because this is kind of like second verse, same as the first kind of situation.
This was, like you said, Harrison, this pissed me off. I mean, you don't need to push Rude as a heel. We get it. He's a douchebag. you don't need to remind us. Just in case you forgot that Bobby Roode's a dick. Yeah, we get it. He's a bad guy. And they keep screwing James Storm off. And when I look at the TNA roster, I can't think of a wrestler who's worked harder for a world title shot and not gotten it than James Storm.
Okay, and not gotten it. Yeah, I'd say James Storm. I'm kind of with you on that one, but at the same time, it will make when James Storm. My hope is Bobby Roode, I don't know, eventually gets the belt. James Storm actually beats Bobby Roode for the belt, and then we get that same Austin Aries when he finally won the strap. That same marking out moment where you look back and go, that was incredible. I think that's what they're building for.
That is the hope I'm holding out for with regards to the storyline, is that TNA has something like that planned.
And to be fair, the thing that I loved about Austin Aries and that I love about this is that it's all homegrown TNA stuff. I mean, this is their Humboldt County best that they're giving us for this feud and eventually for the payoff. You know, it's not some WWE talent or WCW talent. This isn't Sting versus Hogan or Jeff Hardy again.
Austin Aries had a bit of Austin Aries had a huge following for an indie wrestler before he came to TNA, but it's not like he went to WWE first.
Exactly. Okay, so here we are. I want to just touch on Pinfall Magazine hit us up on Twitter, said, I think it's lame when there's a big pay-per-view match only to be canceled out by a match on the weekly TV show. That's a fair point. But here we are at the the Final Resolution card, as we see it. This is mostly speculative, except for a few of these. Knockouts Division Championship, it's gonna be RVD versus somebody else, maybe a gut check guy, we're not sure. TV Championship, Samoa Joe versus possibly maybe an Aces and Eights guy. Doubt we're gonna see Magnus again, obviously. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels, that's confirmed. TNA versus Aces and Eights, TNA being Angle, Garrett, and Briscoe versus Devon, DOC, and Armbreaker. That's probably going to be a 3-on-3 tag match of some kind. Knockouts Championship, this is confirmed, Mickie James versus Tara. And the World Heavyweight Championship, Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy. Looks like a pretty good card going into December 8th, 9th? Well, not this Sunday, next Sunday. So we'll be doing a preview show as usual to talk about it. It should be an absolute blast. But that's TNA. We're now going to shift gears to WWE. And here we are. WWE, I mean, looking at it, guys, is there one topic that we want to talk about besides the end of Survivor Series? Is there anything that we really want to hit on first before we lead into that, or should we save that for later?
I want to say I'm very impressed with the tag team action, for the most part with the WWE. I've gone on record saying many, many, many times I'm a huge tag team fan. Giggity. But while I'm looking at Survivor Series and SmackDown and Raw, you know, they're like if we jump over to Raw, just to go there over everything else, we had Rey and Sin Cara against Team Hell No. Ends in a no contest. That's fine. And it was a great match for the time being. But then earlier on the card, you have the Great Khali beating Epico and Primo in a squash match, and it's like, what the hell? Why are you doing? You've been doing so many good things for the tag division lately, where people are actually interested.
And then you pull this.
And then you do something like You pull the Great Khali of all people. If it's Ryback, it makes a little more sense. Ryback is valid. Ryback's supposed to be shown as a destruction machine. But fucking Khali?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say that it's one of those things where I have the feeling that there's like two factions inside WWE. One is very pro tag team, old school, late 80s, early 90s type of tag team matches that, you constantly go on about. And then the other side is like, no. There's got to be a guy who is 7 feet tall, 600 pounds of muscle that just destroys everybody, or else it's not going to be real TV. And I think what we're seeing is we're kind of seeing the conflict there.
Well, if you want to do that, have him beat up Cody.
In addition to that, I think part of the problem is I think WWE, whether they'd admit it or not, and I'll probably get heat for this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I think there might be some pressure within the WWE to try to use the Great Khali because for some reason he's a huge draw in India, and
that's the thing.
TNA's,
I think they're going to be going back there.
And TNA's Indian Federation, Ring Ka King, is doing very, very well.
Yeah. All right, well, Chet's saying that the point of the squash match wasn't the match itself. It was actually Hornswoggle pranking Rosa. The other thing is WWE needed to screw up somewhere with the tag division, which I think is kind of... that's fair. There is that whole thing where it's like, well, you gotta expand into India, the Khali's big name recognition there. I mean, however you want to spin it is okay. I don't know. I just look at that and I just think, yeah... I don't know. I just have a hard time attributing it to one thing. I just think it's one of those things where we're just going to have, as the tag division grows out, we're going to have growing pains, if you will.
Right. I understand that, but you've just killed Epico and Primo as being a viable tag team for the next 3 years.
Oh, that's a little harsh. I don't think that's fair.
It wasn't really credible.
Are you kidding me?
To have one man squash
for 3 months,
tag
though?
team?
I think they can come back in about 3 weeks and be fine.
It's the Great Khali for...
Okay.
They
4
weren't
weeks.
exactly credible in the first place.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
They were credible as a technically proficient tag team, not as the WWE.
Go to any tag team in the division right now. They were the longest running tag team.
I'm not saying they
were.
I'm not saying they weren't the longest running. I'm saying they're not relevant.
But you've killed any possibility of them being relevant the next 3 months.
They weren't going to be relevant. They weren't going to be relevant for the next 3 months anyway.
I'm just saying you're pushing it farther back, Lee. From whatever time frame it is, you're pushing it 3 months.
Well, 3 months ago we said the same thing. So to be fair, it's just an extension of that deadline.
All right. So, you know what? I want to touch on Survivor Series.
No.
I'm sorry.
I said
no. We. Here's the thing. I'm going to put this out there. I just want to do this because I was talking to Garvin about this on Monday, and I want you guys to convince me I'm wrong. The end of Survivor Series, all right, when the NXT basically runs out, bum rushes Ryback and takes him out. First off, how did everybody feel about that? Garvin was super excited about it. He loved it. What did you guys think? Okay, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, you could have looked at it 2 ways, really. The problem some people had was because it pretty much a lot of the main matches all had pretty non-finishes, so I can see why people were pissed off. But at the end of the day, you've just introduced 3 NXT guys. No, it's beneficial all the way around, I think.
All right, Rob, you think so too?
Didn't we see this already? Oh, yeah, we did.
Right, exactly.
Which people didn't. Whoa, slow down.
Lee, the point is, this is basically a rehash of when NXT 1 debuted against Cena. And now here's the thing. Hang on. I'm completely on the fence about this. I just want to put out why I'm not wholly behind what happened. And if you guys convince me otherwise, that's absolutely fine. Ryback, I mean, there's all the comparisons to Goldberg, so you have that, where Ryback is Goldberg 2.0. And you have that comparison to it. You have the idea that now he's going to be the next unstoppable guy like John Cena. And then we have him being taken out of the match in a very brute force fashion at the end of a pay-per-view, exactly similar. I mean, very similar to what NXT did with John Cena. And when I look at that, like Rob said, it's kind of a rehash of what we've already seen on nearly every level. Now, do you disagree with that? Do you think, like myself and Rob, I'm assuming you're with me on that?
Yes, I'm with you on that, Harrison.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think we're off base on that, or do you think that it's a non-issue?
Yeah, I'm going to say you are completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Expound.
Why does that not surprise me that you would be
anti us?
Yeah.
No, you are completely wrong. The NXT angle was done with John Cena when nothing was really happening in the WWE. It was all pretty stale, and then all of a sudden, and if I remember rightly, it was a very boring episode of Raw. And then, literally, at the end, they destroyed the set. They beat down the announcers. They beat down the referees. They beat down John Cena. They took literally took the ring apart. This was completely different. This is absolutely completely different. These three guys have come in. No, shh. Okay. These guys have come in, and they've taken out Ryback. They put him through a table. They are it's pretty sure they're working, or there's some form of collection going on with CM Punk, so they're working for CM Punk. The Nexus just came in to destroy anybody in their path, and they came over to take over the WWE. These guys have not even announced what they're doing yet, and you've just seen from Raw that they did the same thing. They just targeted Ryback. Nothing to do with any kind of roster invasion. Nothing to do.
Really, because the result of the big NXT attacking John Cena and destroying the ring and all of that stuff, the big result of that was they formed Nexus, who was a group that was eventually led by, survey says, CM Punk.
Hang on.
Let's look at this.
Hang on. Let me answer Rob's question first. That group was led by CM Punk on its second run.
Well,
they got rid of
that's why I said
Barrett.
eventually led by.
Yeah, but Lee.
Okay, but when you had to split the group up and make the other half of the core.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah. No, but I mean, but you're also looking at, like, Nexus came in and they wanted to rule. I mean, they wanted to rule the WWE. Right now, all we see is these guys going after Ryback. Maybe it's an FCW versus OVW thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, but look at it this way: the other aspect of this is.
And yes, live chat. I know that OVW is now TNA.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, but the other aspect of this is though, Ryback was in Nexus. He was in that NXT Assault. So it's like. It just feels too familiar to me. And I understand what you're saying.
Nope, that was a different character.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was Skip
but you get my
Sheffield.
point.
And it wasn't the Silverback referees, no.
But you get my point, right? I mean, there is some unfortunate comparisons to be made here on every side of it. And that's why I have a hard time going, this was amazing. And I get where you're coming from with that. It's just that's my problem. And maybe I am wrong. I mean, it was startling. I mean, it was amazing to see. I mean, maybe at this point, is it too early to read too much into it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you are so wrong. Because they've not even announced what they're doing yet. They haven't said one word.
They never announce what they're doing.
They're pulling a Jericho. They're not going to say shit right now.
But you're so wrong. NXT came over and they targeted. I'm sorry.
If it's so early,
go on.
That Harrison and I have to be wrong on our concerns, how can you say with any definition that we're wrong and you're right?
Because
I've got the answer
logic
for you.
bomb.
It only takes two. No, 2 words. Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Chat brings up a really good point too. Nexus was effective. Why not do it again? Yeah, that's a really good point. I loved Nexus. I loved NXT's debut. I thought it was the most exciting thing I've seen in a while. And doing it again is kind of cool, but I'd rather you recapture the magic as opposed to just, literally doing it again. I mean, just hitting Xerox on it really isn't that much fun to me.
By the way, the other thing to consider is that, with with the original Nexus, we knew who those guys were. We have seen them on WWE TV. Ambrose, Rollins, this Reigns guy, a majority of fans don't know who they are. So they only know that they're attached to NXT because the commentators had said something. But otherwise, you don't know. So I think what Lee is saying is not necessarily that you're wrong, that you just need to be patient. This instant, Nexus 2.0 attack against them.
No, I actually believe that Lee has said at least 50 times so far, we are completely wrong.
I know what Lee is saying, but I'm saying I think what Lee means is that you just need to relax and let this play out before you start, throwing out these negative judgments.
Okay, hang on a second, Garvin. I want to make it clear. I am not negatively judging this. I am saying I have reservations against it. You guys have brought up some really good points. And yeah, maybe I am wrong, and I am going to be patient to see how this plays out. I'm just saying, I saw what happened. It was very compelling, but still in the back of my head, I thought, there's a lot of comparisons on every side of this, the stuff that's already happened. And I have a hard time just going, awesome. I just want to go, that was kind of cool, but we've kind of already seen this, and I don't know. I had a hard time making that jump, to
and I'm in the same boat as Harrison. I'm not saying it's the
this
bad
was not bad.
But what you're saying is an argument for any group of people coming.
No. No, Joe, that's different. There are direct comparisons to be made here. I mean, we have NXT again. Ryback was in both organizations. They went after
this has nothing to do with it. Ryback.
And the only reason people don't know, and the only reason the average WWE fan doesn't know who these three guys are, is because NXT is not on TV like it was.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right, no, Harrison. You cannot make the comparison of Ryback being involved in both factors. It is totally different.
The guy was involved. I mean, but the thing is, I'm looking at
right, but that's like saying Stone Cold Steve Austin is still hanging out with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, because at one point he was the fucking ringmaster. You really can't.
Okay, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I'm just saying, at the end of Survivor
Series, I didn't even remember that gimmick. Good one, Joe.
I'm just saying, at the end of Survivor Series, when that happened, I thought, this is cool, except this, and this. And you guys do bring up a good point. I should be patient. The Ryback comparison is not fair. I mean, that is a completely different guy, different gimmick, everything. He had hair, for instance. Alright, anyway, let's not dwell on whether or not I'm wrong, because I might be. I love being wrong.
You are wrong.
You're unsure now, so.
Yeah, okay,
you're unsure and you're wrong.
Rest Survivor Series. How'd you guys like the pay-per-view as far as a whole? I mean, did you guys enjoy it?
The pay-per-view itself, I think, was technically acceptable, technically good. It lacked a lot of polish to me. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we performed all the parts in Romeo and Juliet, but there was no, real passion.
It was
a high school play.
They went through the motions.
It was very lazy.
Yeah, I almost want to say that the opening contest was, the first traditional Survivor Series match may have been the best thing on the card.
You didn't like the Sheamus Big Show chicken fight in the middle of that match?
No.
I mean, Sheamus Big Show was a good match for the two of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, the Cesaro R-Truth match, joke. Caitlyn versus Eve, queef. Team Ziggler against Team Foley, that one at least had, for the announced matches, that had some back and forth.
Okay.
That was the biggest question mark on the whole damn card, but I think the unannounced Survivor Series match was probably the best one. It had the most action, and it actually used some feud material.
Alright, anybody disagree with that? That the first Survivor Series match was the match of the night?
I think it's hard to disagree with it because there was not much else to choose from.
Yeah, like Lee said, the matches were very lazy. They phoned it in my opinion.
You want to talk about phoning it in? The end of the Team Ziggler versus Team Foley match.
I didn't mind that.
Oh, really? God, the cheese stands alone yet again, and then he demolishes everybody else in sight. Oh, tell me you actually enjoyed that.
I like the end of Team Ziggler, where Ziggler just gets pins Harvey and pins Orton.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I like that.
I don't like the fact that
exactly.
Man,
no, I don't.
But that's because I fucking hate Randy Orton.
I don't like the fact that they killed the Miz off. I really think they should have left the Miz in there. But
yeah, that was kind of annoying too. But I mean, when Orton was left, I was like, oh, talk about checking out, because it's like, and they kept making references to it. That was like, oh, Orton, he's always the one. I mean, they're making him like Mr. Survivor Series now, and it's just.
But to be fair, they could have just gone the obvious route and have him just take out have him take Ziggler out and win the match. So to be fair, I'm pretty glad Dolph won.
All right, Chet. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I wasn't brilliantly happy on Raw when I found out it was a 2 out of 3 falls match against the most exciting.
That's like saying ever. Lee. That's like saying that. Lee, what you're saying is basically it's like somebody breaks into your house and kills your dog. That's like you saying, "Well, I'm glad I didn't die. It sucks that my dog died, but at least they didn't kill me."
I genuinely do not know what you're referencing now. Genuinely have no clue.
Well, moving on.
What we're saying is Rob breaks into people's houses and kills them.
Whoa, that's hitting the highlight reel. All right, so, okay, Chet's saying this. Anyone find it funny that the Divas match
I have a
had
dog
more
myself.
time?
Fuck you, dude.
Anyone find it funny that the Divas match had more time than the U.S. title match? That can't be right.
I pointed that out, and it was right. Yep, it was about 10 seconds more.
Oh, that's barely appreciable, but it is kind of frightening.
I think you'll find it still had more time, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so leaving the Divas aside, because I totally did not call that match correctly. U.S. Championship match. This is what I want to talk about. It seemed like the big thing that everyone coming out that was kicking questions to us and wanted to talk about on Facebook and on Twitter, besides the end of Survivor Series, is Antonio Cesaro.
Really?
Do you guys feel like he's not getting over?
I feel like he's very stuck at the minute. I feel like. Go on.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like he's very stuck because his gimmick isn't. Well, no, sorry, his wrestling is pretty good, as we saw him last night, and he's all technically solid. He's brilliant on the mic, but it's just his gimmick is just dreadful in a way, and no one really likes it, and it's kind of hard because when his match with R-Truth was pretty average.
Well, that's because he's fighting R-Truth. Let's pull no punches there. I think Cesaro's character actually is starting to grow in fans, but I think it's still like, okay, we get it. He's a cocky son of a bitch, and okay, and now he's sliding into just JBL territory where it's just like they're booing you because it's not because you do a good job as a heel.
They're booing you because we're boring.
But you're just fucking. We're booing you because you're annoying and we know the next 20 minutes.
Could be worse, though.
But I like Cesaro. I like his work. The problem is he hasn't had anybody spectacular to work against.
Okay.
That will help him shine and to really,
okay. I do. The reason I want to bring this up is I want to specifically reference, Julietted80 on Twitter, tweeted us and said that, she fast forwards every WWE match that Antonio Cesaro is in and asks us, do they need to take the title off of him and start over? This was a trend. I mean, we saw a lot of this Sunday night about people saying, get the belt off of him, start him over, do something with him. Because, Joe, like you're saying, the guy is talented. Chat's saying right there, the jumping uppercut on Brodus, Raw was awesome. A pin drop in 5 different languages is kind of crap, but the guy is, like you're saying, Joe, technically proficient. Is that where you're sitting there?
I think, yeah, he's technically proficient. I just don't know. I don't think we need to restart him. If anything, you develop this cockiness and maybe put him in a tag team at some point in the future going forward where he also picks up the tag team title or even beats Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental title, like where he's holding multiple titles.
I was going to say,
I know generally it would be stupid, it'd be like one guy, clogging up all the divisions. But if you want to push him as this cocky son of a bitch who can who's, with this 5 language bullshit, he's trying to prove he's intellectually superior, give him more gold and really make him worth defeating. The U.S. title's not worth anything.
Yeah, you need to put him up against someone. I think you said it, Joe. He needs someone to wrestle against because there's a limit as to how much he can do against the same person. And I cannot believe they're going back to the Cesaro versus R-Truth feud again. That's just shocking. But yeah, he needs someone different to work with to excel.
Okay.
And I don't know why this has popped in my head, and probably because I just touched on, maybe putting another title like the tag team title on him. Kind of like the Miz did back when he was holding 3 titles at once.
That was awesome. That was so awesome.
Yeah, it was. Bring back Kozlov and put him in a tag team with him.
Oh, that
I
would
don't
suck.
I don't want ever to see that man again.
I just that
Oh!
popped in my head. To me, that would work.
Chat's got a good one. Cesaro and Damian Sandow. I mean, you'd have to break up Rhodes Scholars, but I think that would work pretty well. It's essentially the same gimmick, but you're getting 2 different flavors of it.
So, Sandow, has anyone else noticed that Sandow's going to struggle with the last week?
Call it, sorry, this is great. Cesaro and Sandow's a tag team, call it Foreign Intelligence. I like that.
I think you're on your own.
I'm sorry, I like that. I like that idea. Cesaro and Sandow coming together for that one. That's pretty good.
So what are you saying, Lee?
Oh, I was just saying that Sandow was just, he seems to be in the last week, he was just kind of, he hasn't been on his game. He's looked weird, like, I don't know if it's just WWE booking, but last night he didn't look very good. Pretty boring match with Sheamus. Survivor Series, he was the first one out. And on SmackDown it wasn't great either, if I remember rightly.
I'm gonna think back to SmackDown. No,
Kofi.
Oh, Sandow versus Kofi. I actually thought Sandow versus Kofi was a good match.
I thought it dragged.
Really? That was pretty good.
Well, see, I actually liked it. I like the mix of styles between Kofi and Sandow. I think Sandow needs to work some longer matches, but like guys like Kofi, I think Kofi's level and higher probably. I mean, it'll really help.
Okay. Fan reaction to Survivor Series. Robert posted us saying, it's a Survivor Series tradition. Bad things always happen to baby faces, from getting run down by a car to getting a power bomb through the announcer table. I would say a great ending for Survivor Series main event, but I'd like to see what their next plan is for these new NXT stars. Lewis said, best ending since Money in the Bank 2011. Ryan said, fantastic ending.
Lewis is so high right now.
Well, he was high when he wrote that. Fantastic ending to a very solid show. The marquee matches were incredible. And how about that opening match to me? The match that showed how hungry these young talent are to get noticed. What a statement. Nick said, honestly, I'd prefer to have Cassius Ohno in instead of Dean Ambrose. But aside from that, this was awesome, no question. Brad said, good ending, though Ohno should have replaced his reign, as Ohno is more ready for more prime time than Reigns is. It was clever wordplay when you saw it in text. Anyway, Raw. We just...
Wait. Just popped in my head, going off Nick's statement of preferring Cassius Ohno instead of Dean Ambrose. What if Team Hell No breaks up? Daniel Bryan goes and picks Cassius Ohno.
So it's...
And then he could occasionally be Cassius Oh Yes.
Okay, 365 days. CM Punk's officially hold the title. Well, I guess 366 as of today. I mean, how are you guys feeling about this? You think they're going to keep going with it? Do you think they're going to ride that wave? Or do you think that all the countdown for CM Punk, winning, getting X number of days and all that stuff, do you think that's it? Or I mean, where do you see them going with this, as of next week?
They're going to go all the way. They're going all the way to Royal Rumble.
Yeah, really? Yeah. They're going all the way to Rock.
Yeah.
They're going all the way to Rock. He's not losing the title. He could lose it to Rock. I could see him losing it to Rock. Because then they're going to put Rock and push him with the title. Let a part-timer do a job, but...
How much better would it be without...
I prefer not to see him. Okay.
No, sorry, Joe. I was just going to say, how much better would it be if he didn't, if Punk did beat Rock, though?
Oh, that would be spectacular. I'm hoping that's the case. Because then, you've got Punk who's beating everybody. He's beating one of the biggest guys to hit the industry.
Problem.
You can't say Rock isn't one of the biggest guys.
You could argue that he is the biggest guy.
No.
Right. He was a phenomenon. Yes. He was a phenomenon
of the
era. So, going on that, to have Punk beat him, you're just building to see who's Punk going to fight?
That's a good point, but then again, what would your WrestleMania match be then? That's the issue.
Well, the one thing that everyone seems to kind of stick in their back pocket is Lesnar versus Rock for the title.
That would be a big
yeah. Yeah, no, it would, but that's the one that everyone's kind of kicking around, because you can't have, I mean, do you have...
That was going to be That would be like Goldberg versus Lesnar, and the entire time, since both guys were leaving, all you heard was na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
The worst match.
Ryback versus Rock. I mean, that would be even worse. The point is that you got to have another big name. Can you rehash Cena? Because they said once in a lifetime. So
why don't you make it? They've done a fatal 4-way for the title before at WrestleMania. You do Rock versus Punk versus Cena versus Ryback or somebody else, or make it a triple threat.
do you stick Triple H in there at all?
It'll be
Okay.
no.
All right. Well, we have tons of time to talk about WrestleMania, but anyway, that's what we're leading to with this. I want to go real quick. The pay-per-view predictions.
Oh, before you get to that, Harrison, I just want to say that I think Wade Barrett versus Kofi Kingston was a phenomenal.
No, we'll get back to it. Don't worry. I just want to do this real quick and give you props and Mike props because both of you tied with 5 matches correctly predicted, which means right now you have, Lee and I are still tied at 4. You have 3 pay-per-views correct, Mike has 2, but as far as point totals go, Rob has 44, Lee's got 42, and then it's you, me, Garvin, and Mike all like sniping around the mid-30s.
I missed 5 months worth of pay-per-view on this, so how the fuck can you say fuck you, Lee? I missed 5 months and I've still got nearly as much as you.
I'm beating you. That's
Yeah,
how I
he's
would
beating
say
you.
fuck you, Lee.
He is beating you. I mean, sorry, Lee. I mean, they don't give out prizes for silver medals no matter how badly your country wishes they did. All right,
It's not my fault TNA booked stupid pay-per-views at the start of the year, was it? No.
No, but Rob sure as hell.
Yeah, he did. He braked it in real quick. He got that open. That gun went off and he went off to the races. All right, okay. So yeah, Barrett, Kofi. Yes, that was phenomenal.
That was a great match. The Cena AJ Vicky segment that happened on Raw, where Cena looks like he injures himself.
Yes.
Said he tore his meniscus. Like, I saw that, and everyone, you saw Twitter just blow up like, oh, looked like Cena rolled his ankle, and looked like this and that, and...
I laughed. I honestly laughed. As soon as he ran up the stairs limping, I was like, it was hilarious. And then what gets me is, why is everyone saying, is it a work or is it not a work? The very next segment, he's there with a doctor with AJ. It's like, it's clearly a work. It could not be more obvious. And people are just like, oh no, it's definitely.
And then, Dolph attacks Cena in the locker room. One, there's a mob of dudes in towels. Why the fuck is AJ in there?
Right.
Unless she's gonna get filled out like a racist.
Oh my god.
Joe.
Oh.
And then Dolph and Cena. There was speculation that there was no toilet in the stall that got destroyed, but you could tell there was. And wouldn't it be funny if Ryback was sitting on the shitter? Who was it? Are you in the live chat? Somebody said that on fucking Twitter, and that was...
Tripped over his hard on. I'm done. Somebody else leave the show. I don't want to do this anymore.
Alright, so anybody else got anything to talk about WWE related then?
It was a pretty average show, to be fair, wasn't it? I mean, God almighty, I won't lie, I didn't watch it last night. I watched it earlier on today. The first half an hour, the 45 minutes was really good. And I thought, oh Jesus, I might be able to watch this. And then Divas match happened, and I was like, okay, we'll stay on with it, we'll stay on. Then I think it was Cesaro next, that was awful. God, I got killed after that. And then I heard the words Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I was ready to die.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, the big parts of the card
That should
were
be illegal.
Were 3.
That should be illegal.
That is cruel and unusual punishment to make somebody watch Randy Orton versus ADR in a 2 out of 3 falls.
Honestly, no, do you know what the funny?
But the sad part is, I actually think it was a good match for the two of those.
Do you know what the really funny bit was? The really funny bit was, like, just after the Cena bit aired, Michael Cole actually says, and he actually says something like, and after the break is one of the hottest rivalries of 2012. It's Randy Orton versus Del Rio. I was like, did you just say the hottest rivalry this year? I honestly, I had to just pause it, go back, and he did say that.
They have to try to sell the match somehow. What do you expect Cole to say? And if you want to go to the kitchen to get another beer, now's the time to do it because we've got ADR and Randy Orton coming up.
You're telling me what Michael Cole was subliminally saying. Because we both know that he was saying
All right. Hang on. Before we move on, preview
Good
TLC.
point.
Before we move on, by the way, Joe, you're getting this little cap. Chat's kicking us to task for this and putting us on blast. Totally skipping Ziggler's words.
What?
Ziggler said something?
What about?
Yeah, I'm kind of lost on the context for that. I was hoping you guys could help me out. I mean,
Yeah. I'm assuming he's talking about how Ziggler totally tore AJ apart in the back.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, where he called her a whore?
Yeah, that wasn't.
That was pretty stiff. You know, as far as PG era.
Waka.
And unoriginal.
Not an original, just kind of lazy.
It just.
Yeah, it's something Lawler did 3
There it
years
is.
And Jericho called just about every woman in the WWE a whore, especially Stephanie McMahon.
But that was not PG
Those
era.
are some of
That
the
was
greatest
so
segments ever.
That was
Still.
not PG era though.
My point is, it's unoriginal and lazy.
The best Jericho moment ever was where he put up stuff before her boob job.
Yes!
And then she just ran off, and that was
Let the boobies hit the floor. That was so good.
Saying Ziggler was fucking merciless. He was. I don't know how I feel about that one, but, you know, it happened. Diva Jill saying I would totally tear AJ apart. Of course you would.
Yeah,
All
of
right.
course
I will tear Jim up.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So if we missed anything, if you got something you want to rant and rave about us when it comes to WWE and TNA, feel free to write us, ftwpodcast.com. Hit us up with the hashtag AskFTW. Let us know what you think, or you can give us your reactions to this show. Look forward to hearing what we missed and what you think we should really hit on. Oh, I'm sorry, Lee. You got one thing real quick before we bounce the TLC and then Ask FTW?
One last thing. I thought Titus O'Neil was so funny on commentary.
Oh God, yeah.
God, he was so funny.
You have to say that, Joe. You have to say that so that the chat can hear it.
I'm sorry. No.
What? Continue on.
Darren Young. I mean, when it comes here's my thing. When it comes to Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, PDP, Darren Young was the weakest link. He is dead weight at this point.
I think Titus O'Neil's got.
Titus O'Neil is fantastic.
He is. I can't lie. He is.
The,
I mean, if they're going to split up the primetime players, they better team Darren Young and John
Just
Cena.
Just so that way we can be confirmed that they're not actually the same person.
Yeah.
No, Titus O'Neil, I would be completely fine if they broke this up, put Titus O'Neil in the singles. I mean, there's someone that can go for the U.S. title. Titus O'Neil.
I would almost put him against Kofi for the IC after this Barrett run is done, if Barrett doesn't.
Oh, you can't give Barrett a run like this and not give him the strap at the end of it, can you?
Barrett needs to be up there.
Yeah, he's got to have the belt. And we keep talking about dropping Cesaro off of it. I think Titus O'Neil would be a great fit. I mean,
it's a useless title. That's
yeah, it's a useless title, but they got 19 hours of programming every week they got to fill, Joe.
I'd move on.
All right,
We'll be
anyway.
here for hours.
Chet's agreeing with us. Titus is absolutely carrying that team. The only redeeming factor about no days off is his finisher. Yeah. Current TLC card as we see it, this is kind of speculation, is AJ versus Tamina. The Divas Championship with Caitlyn versus Eve, Tag Team Championships, PDP, Ray Cara versus Team Hell No, Intercontinental Championship, possibly Wade Barrett, Kofi Kingston, Damian Sandow, Dolph Ziggler.
Sandow won't be in there.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but he's hovering around it. Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena, possibly. I mean, it's a pay-per-view. Cena's got to be on it. U.S. Championship, R-Truth and Antonio Cesaro. World Heavyweight Championship, maybe Sheamus, Big Show. Possibly Dolph finally cashes in. We've been predicting it every pay-per-view. It's got to happen at some point. Ryback versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. This is kind of where we're sitting for the TLC. We're going to see how this kind of shapes up as we go through.
What I loved about this was there was an advertisement locally for TLC that told you which match, there were 3 matches listed and which match had which stipulation. I won't, yeah, honestly, do you want, you can know if you want.
Yeah, why not?
It might be a bit of a spoiler, I don't know, it's not official.
Well, there technically should be 4.
Well, I've
got
got
3 booked right now. We got what, 2-3 more weeks?
Yeah. The WWE title match is supposed to be a tables match. Yeah, wait for this. the World Heavyweight title match obviously is a chairs match, looking, what happened last night. So guess which match gets the TLC match?
Is it AJ versus Tamina?
Nearly.
The Divas Championship?
No.
Okay.
Oh. Well, Ziggler would be great.
Tag team.
And Cena Ziggler for the TLC.
Yeah, that would.
Wait. Did you say one of them was the tag team champion?
Yeah, PGP, Ray Cara, Team Hell No, possibly. Or are you talking Blake?
No. Did they have I'm sorry, I zoned out.
They've not.
Are they a TLT?
No, they've not got set for anything. What gets me though is the fact that you've got the WWE title match and a chairs match, World Heavyweight title in a tables match, and then the only actual match that is TLC is a match that is pretty much going to be worthless. It goes back to the same thing that they did to Hell in a Cell. It's just going to be one match of it's going to be a waste of time. It already sounds like a waste of time. Because effectively, I reckon we can guess half the results now and get it right.
I would love to see the tag team championships get the TLC match.
I would love to see something like that, but I don't think they will do it just because of the fact that Kane is I reckon he's just a bit too old now.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, that's the thing. I see Kane doing being a weak point. Anyway, look, we got plenty of time. We're gonna have our TLC preview show. We can dive into this. And besides, this is all speculation. This is like pre-speculation. So let's dive into Ask FTW. You ask, we answer. Each one of us is gonna get 30 seconds to sound off on a news topic. If you guys have anything else that you want to add, we'll scream at each other a little bit afterwards. If you guys have anything for us, feel free to send it in with like a hashtag Ask FTW. You can tweet us, FTW Podcast on Twitter. Or you can send us basically just hit up ftwpodcast.com. You find all the links and information right there if you want to, get a discussion going and see what us and the live chat has to say. But first things first, Michael emailed us and he had a couple things to ask, and so we're just going to just zip through them real quick. What do you think would happen if this is really weird. Now what would you think would happen if Vince was able to buy TNA? First off, he could. Would he completely buy it? Or would he get some of the TNA guys like AJ and Samoa Joe, scuttle the rest, like Punk versus Joe for those matches, and just scuttle the rest? Joe, where do you stand?
I don't think he needs to do that to get those guys. If he bought TNA, he'd probably use it just to wipe his ass with the paperwork, because I don't think he gives a rat's ass about it.
Okay, Lee, what do you think?
I think if he ever did buy TNA would just disappear completely, and he would probably bring a couple of guys over. I have a feeling AJ Styles will probably not go to WWE.
Yeah, I can see him just walking. Rob?
Yeah, I think basically what happened with WCW and ECW would happen to TNA. He'd turn it into a joke. Maybe a couple of guys from TNA would find themselves on the WWE roster, and then he'd just destroy the company.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The thing is, though, I'm pretty sure the WWE, as far as a corporation goes, has the money to buy TNA right now as far as what it's valued, but I don't know. TNA is like a subsidiary of some, energy company in, Tallahassee or something? So, who knows? What he would do with it? Yeah, he'd scuttle it, take the top talent, and just leave the rest. The rest would be best of TNA DVDs that we get on Kmart discount shelves for $3. That's what would eventually happen to it. That would be the legacy that was TNA. But I don't see WWE buying it. I think they're out of that game. Would WWE ever think about making a Divas #1 Contenders tournament for the title and basically include some of the development girls like Paige, or bring back past Divas like Lita or Trish to kind of inject some energy into that division? Where do you stand on this one, Rob?
It'd be a good idea, but I don't think they'll do it. The WWE has shown time and time again they give less than a shit about the Divas division. Okay.
Lee?
I don't think it would be a good idea. I don't think there is anywhere near enough Divas for even a tournament, let alone anything else. Regarding bringing up some Divas for development, that's been talked about for months, still not yet happened, so we'll wait and see on that one. Bringing back Lita or Trish, Divas like that, no.
Okay, Garv, what do you think?
Well, it's also been a combination of things. It's not just WWE not caring, it's fans in general not caring. We could care less about the Divas in general, so would something like this spice things up? Sure, but, it's not guaranteed. There's no guarantees, and really, I think the Divas division is dying. That's why we've lost Beth Phoenix, the Breeze, or the Bellas. It's dying. It's dying.
I think that Jesus. Oh no, Lee, hang on. Well, hang on, Lee. The thing that really kind of shows that a lot of this is wrong is Karma. When Karma came back, when Karma came to WWE, that was the most energetic thing that we had seen. First off, that show. Not even like in the Divas division. When she debuted on that Raw, that was electrifying. And it was like, holy crap, this is going to be incredible. So I think if they do that, maybe it was partly Karma. There's room here for them to really, basically my point is, I don't think that the Divas division is that far gone if they can get the talent like that. If that talent exists in FCW, fantastic, or in, what are they calling it now? NXT? Whatever they're calling it now. If that talent exists there, there's opportunity. Okay. Alright, so FCW, if it exists there.
No, it's NXT.
It's officially NXT?
It is officially NXT.
Alright. Anyway, they get like Paige or some of those other women down there, bring them up, do something crazy with it. Absolutely. I think that there's a chance to make Divas division pretty compelling. Joe, you got a point you want to bring up?
Well, with the Divas, they did bring in Sarah Del Rey, and she's supposedly helping the Divas train, so maybe they're going to get better before they bring her in. And then they have your cousin. Maybe she'll actually get in the ring and do some more work.
Carve, what do you got?
Okay,
part with some Rob side.
As far as the Karma thing, yes, Karma brought a spark, but that was a spark that really only someone like her could bring. Without her, the Divas division is pretty much dead, and they will remain that as long as WWE keeps the mentality that you have to be hot versus a good wrestler.
Yeah, that guys nailed it pretty much. The only reason Karma was so big as such, she was literally the anti-diva. She didn't have the typical, ditzy music that fucking Caitlyn has. That's god awful. She doesn't have the look. She doesn't have, she isn't, typically built like a woman. She's obviously pretty big in size. She's just the anti-diva, and everyone's just like, thank God someone's going to destroy Kelly. And as it turned out, we got fucked over. But, that's life.
All right. Next question is, Michael had a question about who the WWE board of directors are. They have been mentioned ever since the appearance of John Laurinaitis. No, they've been around since before that, I think. Do you know who's part of the board, and would it be good if they decide to make a storyline where they have one of the board members become the Raw GM, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Does anybody have a point about this? Because, I got, the real reason for it, but, as far as speculation about them bringing it more in, does anybody have an opinion on that? Okay.
I do.
Okay, Joe, so you're... Okay.
Unless you bring back Jack Tunney. Which you can't do because he's dead. But, I just, when you get, Triple H, I'm the vice president of talent, blah, 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 and now I'm also the Raw GM, and now I'm in a match, waste of fucking time. You don't need to bring in these people in, unless they're going to be, some evil, Overlord Council that you really don't see the faces of, it's like MST3K up on the Titantron. They're making matches.
Wow, that would be awesome. Not what you're saying. Actual MST3K guys on the Titantron doing storylines would be fantastic. Lee, do you got an opinion on this one?
Do you mean the actual board of directors? Or
no, I just brought it in because I'll sum up who the board of directors are at the end. But if you want to just say what you think about the idea of them incorporating more of that into WWE programming,
I'd rather they didn't. It just doesn't make for that, especially when Triple H is the whatever the fuck he is. I don't know what the hell he is in storyline terms. But John Laurinaitis, just I don't know. They don't need it. It just turns into some awful shit.
Okay. Rob?
Well, I've got the actual board members here, to answer Michael's question. Just real quickly as I can run them down. You've got Vince McMahon, who's the chairman of the board of directors and chief executive officer, blah, blah, blah. David Keenan is the former executive vice president of programming for the Hallmark Channel. How that makes you eligible to run a wrestling company is beyond me, but there you go. Joseph H. Perkins is the president from Communications Consultants Incorporated. Frank A. Riddick III is the chief executive officer of the GMC Steel Group. And Jeffrey R. Speed, Kevin Dunn, Basil D. Vito, Patricia A. Gottsman, and Stuart U. Goldfarb round out the members. They come from various backgrounds and everything, but that's the actual board of directors like you would find if you were looking to invest in the WWE. How that plays into storylines, I think the best way to do it is, if you are going to do it, keep it as it is right now, where the board of directors is like this shadowy, unknown group that occasionally makes decrees and...
They're a boogeyman. That's what they are. Is there a boogeyman? You want to be, basically, when you have someone like John Laurinaitis up there being the dick boss, you want to be able to point out that when someone like him is so juvenile and kind of like a weak person, you want to be able to say, oh, he's got to answer to a higher power. They are a plot device. They are a way of taking a situation like the AJ thing, like whatever, and being able to, it's called a Deus Ex Machina. Basically what it is it's a plot device that you can use to change the storyline without having to explain very far into why that happened. And that's what they are. They're just an easy way for them to pull strings, to take AJ out, to put in whoever they want as far as the GM, etc., like that. So that's essentially what they are. What they should be, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I like blurring the lines, but when WWE does it, because WWE is so much, superstars, everything's larger than life. Now we're going to bring in an accountant to talk about numbers. It doesn't fit. And so I think when they do that, it doesn't really work very well. All right, so last question from Michael. What do you think about the FCW NXT tag team, The Ascension? I think if the WWE pushed them in either Raw or SmackDown, it would definitely be a good push for the tag team division, as well as putting Paige on the Divas roster on Raw and SmackDown. Anybody got an opinion on this one?
Yeah. I don't think they should just push them straight to Raw or SmackDown, because I think we've said this. No one really in the US can really watch NXT without going online to YouTube, so basically no one knows who they are. They need to establish themselves. And there's no point just throwing them together on Raw or SmackDown. There's just no point.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. If they do it, they gotta build them. They can't just...
Well, how do you establish
Yeah, but
them?
you can't just throw them into a tag team match and just say, oh, your name's like that. You've got to give them a gimmick. And you've got to just, do even just some video promos, kick them off nice and easy. Even do two singles wrestlers, then do them for a team later. Just establish themselves.
No, if they do that, I like the idea of them.
No.
Yeah, I'm with Joe. As much as I hate to agree with Joe on occasion, I'm with Joe in this one. I don't like the idea of breaking them up. And doing a cold open with these guys doesn't really work, because Lee, like you said, no one really knows who they are. So, I mean, if they do bring them in, yeah, you're thinking video packages, you're thinking 10-size debuts, what you're thinking. So, hopefully a little bit better.
But you said 10-size.
No, up until the point he walked out, it was awesome. All the video packages, all the build, you gotta recreate that.
It's not like he's a fucking
Thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. I do want to say this. I made a Shockmaster reference in front of my wife. She had no idea what I was talking about, so I actually looked it up, told her the story, and showed her the picture. She laughed hysterically. She's like, how could nobody know that was a Stormtrooper helmet? I couldn't, I didn't have time to bring that up on YouTube, but I just showed her a picture, and she went, that's a Stormtrooper helmet. How did they think they would be able to get a hold of that? So...
How busy
we were in line. We were in line at the bank. I didn't want to bring up a YouTube video, but we were in line at the bank. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for Michael. Thank you for writing in. Jesse on Facebook wanted to ask a couple questions about TNA. He said, I'm sorry. He asked a couple of questions. He wanted to know, what are they doing with the Great Khali? I don't think they should have even brought him back. It's kind of hard, because what we were earlier thinking. We hear a lot. I mean, here's the thing, guys. We hear a lot about, he's big in India. Is that really enough of a reason to keep someone in?
Yep.
He's technically big wherever he goes, but no, it's only because the India thing. That's the only reason. They would have released him a long time ago if he wasn't.
Yeah, Chat brought it up though. I mean, do we really have hard numbers on how famous this guy is? I mean, we hear all the time about it.
He is very, very popular. I know how daft it sounds, but he's very popular.
He's like the lead of India.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
That you're very popular in some other country.
I'm saying you're very popular.
It sounded so
huge.
sarcastic.
You're huge in North Korea
No.
and Myanmar.
Yeah.
Also, he talks funny.
And Lee, you're also very tall, so it works out too. Not as tall as me, but still tall. One last simple question from Jesse, who wrote in. Thank you very much. Why are they trying to make Ryback lifting Tensai such a huge deal when you have Sheamus lifting Big Show up every week for the white noise?
It's real easy. It is so freaking easy. It's because fucking Tensai stonewalled him that
Thank you.
time.
Yeah.
So now
Well, this is something we talked about before to recap. When Tensai did that, the speculation was, and I still don't know where I land on this, is whether or not Tensai was put up to it or Tensai did it. Because on the one hand, you could say Tensai was put up to it to kind of test Ryback before his build, to kind of do before his big push. However, it does explain why Tensai has been kind of on a lull right now. Because if he would have basically, like Joe said, stonewalled Ryback, the next big talent, out of spite or jealousy or whatever, it does explain why Ryback hasn't been getting a push. He's been kind of forgotten and been kind of like losing matches.
Wait.
I'm sorry, yes, Tensai. Tensai's been forgotten. He's gone through a bunch of losing matches. It does explain that. You harm the golden boy, you're going to get bopped on the nose with a newspaper.
It happened way before that. He started going down way before that. Yeah. The stonewalling thing, it was just so clunky it couldn't have been. I don't believe it was spoke to it.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Lee. Where are you landing on that? Do you think it was all Tensai, or do you think it was Tensai being put up to it?
It was just a mistake. So
you just think it was a botch?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Anybody else have it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I agree. Tensai doing it, he probably did himself. They probably didn't put him up to it.
Alright. Rob, you got one?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you guys. I think it was just, likely a mistake. I don't think, if it was on purpose, I don't think anybody put him up to it. But my take on it is that it was probably just, a botch.
Okay.
Just a mistake that happens during a match.
Yeah, but that's boring. So I like my tinfoil hat idea. Gary on Facebook wrote in, asked us, when do you think Dolph Ziggler will cash Money in the Bank case? If you go by my track record, it's every pay-per-view. And I've been wrong every time. Legitimately, guys, where do you think he's going to cash in? Joe, when do you think Ziggler is going to finally cash in Money in the Bank? Preferably before the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, well, it's got to be before.
Yep, that's too.
Could I think TLC is a great place to do it because depending on the match that the World Championship is involved in, it could very well be there. I would like to see him cash in at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania?
Like, as a last second,
I like that.
The match goes on, he's not even a part of it.
Well, then, because
everyone knows at that point he's going to cash.
I like that. No, I like the idea that he will be in a match at WrestleManias. But my theory is that it's going to be the Elimination Chamber. Because if he takes it at the Elimination Chamber, then he's guaranteed a big WrestleMania match. That's my theory.
Oh, that's fair.
But do you think? See, in my scenario, it's him picking up the pieces and grabbing the title and walking on WrestleMania. You actually think they're going to put him as one of the main events of WrestleMania?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
They did it with Miz.
They did, but Miz had the title.
No, that's a fair point too.
Yeah, actually, Miz only had it from, I think it was the December.
But he did have the belt.
Oh, he did have the belt, yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's the thing. Rob, what do you think? I mean, when do you think he's going to cash it in? You with Joe? Because Garvin said he was with Joe on that one, which I kind of am too. I like the idea of him cashing in at WrestleMania.
I like the idea just because I believe it would be a first, something that we haven't seen before, but I don't know for sure when he's going to cash it in. I could see maybe Royal Rumble or something, but I don't know. He's had the box for so long, and there's not even been a hint of him cashing it in. I wonder
No,
if
there's been hints. A couple of pay-per-views he's been backstage watching. I want to say it was 2 pay-per-views ago. He was actually watching Sheamus. Yeah,
but I don't know. I just haven't gotten any really strong feeling that he's going to cash it in watching any pay-per-view. Kind of makes me wonder if WWE is nervous, wanting to hold him back for some reason, develop him a bit more. I don't know.
Okay.
Or do you think he may be the first guy to go all the way through?
That's also a viable possibility if my tinfoil hat theory that the WWE is suddenly rethinking giving him the idea of giving him the Money in the Bank in the first place and thinks he needs to develop a little bit more. They could just say, you're going to be the first person to never cash it in.
Well, here's the thing, though.
No.
Hold on, Harrison. There are two things here. If they actually did feel that way, they would have done what they did to Kennedy.
Yeah.
And had somebody beat him for the case.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
The second thing is for the live chat who are going to be like, well, how can he go the entire distance and just, like, forget to cash it in? He'll attempt to, but, maybe he'll get the bro kick where he gets knocked out and he just doesn't get it.
Yeah, because there's some stipulations. The other guy has to be standing, you have to hand the case to the referee, and then that's the thing. And so maybe, like you're saying, he gets bro kicked or something. Rob, I mean, 3 months ago, I would have said you were insane if you said that Ziggler wasn't, the next big thing, and he's really stagnated. It just feels like, I don't know what it is, but it feels like right now WWE...
Harrison, you might join me in the unoriginal and lazy club.
No, I am so much a Ziggler mark.
It's John Cena. It's the John Cena curse.
Thing. Yeah, it's the John Cena curse. No, I just look at it and I go, this guy is everything, but for some reason, he's just not getting the push. You know what I mean? It just feels like maybe it might actually just be the case is just weighing him down in my eyes. It's like, just cash the goddamn thing in already.
Harrison, just one thing. What do you mean by he's not getting a push?
Well, because he's still hanging. I mean, he's still. At this point, we're nearing the end of 2012. We said that it would be down to AJ or Ziggler for the biggest breakout star of 2012.
but he gets more TV time than anyone else.
And he's
legitimately.
Not really, yeah.
Yeah. He's the only people he's not beating is like
and JBL. No, you have an excellent point there. My point is, yes, he's given all this TV time, he's given all this opportunity. Nothing's really coming out of it though. He's still got the case. He's not in like a massive feud leading to a pay-per-view.
Despite the pay-per-view.
It just started,
the TV
Joe.
time.
Winning the Survivor Series match is not a major point for him.
Despite the TV time he's getting, despite the people he's beating, he's still in about the same place he was at the beginning of the year.
No.
We'll wait and see if the Survivor Series changes that, but speaking as of right now, he hasn't really moved that far yet.
That's true, and it is a fair point. He did win Survivor Series, and he is in the feud with John Cena, so that is a step up. But at the same time, like Rob said, here versus last year, there's really not much there. I mean, it's just, he's still doing the same thing he's been doing, and I mean, this was the guy who we picked would be the breakout star of 2012. We have not seen that. So that's where I stand. Is like, I am. Well, no, I'm not comparing him to I'm not comparing him to him. I'm comparing him to the bar that we set and going, he's not there. And maybe that is unfair.
Just because he's not in the main event, like, over and over and over, doesn't mean he isn't that breakout star. I think he's still rocking it out. The fact that they just put him into a feud with John Cena.
That is a fair point. But, I mean, he hasn't had his... I was totally expecting 2012 was going to be the year that Ziggler has the Austin 316 moment. And we haven't seen that yet.
Well,
that's the thing. That's true. We do have a month left. We got another pay-per-view. We do have Cena. I'm holding out judgment. I'm just saying I just expected more at this point. But you're right. We are coming up. I mean, we still got the final stretch. We got another month and a half. Let's see what happens. And chat brings up a really good too. Beating Orton clean isn't a big step up. But he has beaten Orton before, hasn't he?
I have to disagree with that.
Maybe not a pay-per-view.
No, beating Orton clean. He didn't really beat him clean because it was just kind of. It wasn't treated like Ziggler's big win. It was treated like Randy Orton lost it.
Yeah, that's a fair point too, Lee. That was
Right, they made a bigger deal that Orton lost than Ziggler won.
Yeah, and Ziggler's feud with John Cena at the minute is based around the most dumbass storyline I've seen this year.
It doesn't mean that the pay-per-view match...
It doesn't mean that, but what it does mean is it'll just make the match that a little bit less interesting to me. Because it'll be based around nothing.
And also, just because, even if Ziggler was the breakout star, it doesn't mean he's the biggest star. Orton is still a big star in WWE. So getting a clean win over Orton is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but I think, no, because if you watch that pay-per-view back, you'll see that the minute Ziggler won, they pretty much just cut to a commercial. And they treated it like nothing. I don't think it's as big as what people made out, just because they built it towards Orton's heel turn rather than Ziggler actually winning.
So I was just Joe in the background. Alright, okay, moving on. Gary also wrote in, and Gary's British, right? Because it explains his terrible grammar. Do you think The Rock and Stone Cold would have been big stars if HBK didn't break his back? Is he saying HBK would have been a big star like Rock and Stone Cold if he didn't break his back?
No. What?
Wait.
He's asking, would Rock or Stone Cold be stars if HBK didn't break his back and have to take time off?
There we go.
Yeah.
And I say those guys still would be freaking huge. It just because HBK had to take time off doesn't mean that that those guys still wouldn't have grown to be huge. Those guys had charisma. They had the...
and Stone Cold was kind of a big name at Royal Rumble, and that was previously before HBK broke his back. Right? I'm trying to match up my timelines. Anyway, Lee, what do you think? I mean, do you think Rock and Stone Cold would have been huge if HBK didn't go through his injury?
Yeah, of course they would have been. Absolutely.
Stone Cold, I mean, talking like, the Tooth Fairy and that shitty movie Stone Cold was in where he was on an island with a bunch of cameras big? Or are we talking, The Condemned? So terrible. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
Probably yes, but it would have taken at least Stone Cold a little longer. I mean, the WWE actually made a huge storyline out of this, out of when HBK came back blaming Stone Cold Steve Austin and actually making the comment that if he hadn't injured his back, Austin wouldn't have been the big guy, that Stone Cold kind of stepped up and stole the spotlight in HBK's absence. And I think there's some truth to that. I think if HBK doesn't break his back, it takes Stone Cold a little bit longer to get that big break. The Rock probably would have become the megastar he was anyways because of the charisma and everything, but I think it would have taken Stone Cold just a little bit longer.
And Harrison, I think you're confused on the from the way you were asking the question earlier. It's not like would The Rock and Stone Cold, like a match between the two of them, have been big if HBK didn't break his back.
No. Well, I mean, it was written really weirdly. No, my point is, I firmly believe I'm with you guys. The Rock and Stone Cold, the charisma was there, the talent was there. I mean, the breakout moment was going to happen. If HBK had or had not broke his back, it's immaterial. It's terrible it happened, but yeah, I mean, it's all about Stone Cold. And keep in mind, the thing that launched Stone Cold is the feud with McMahon. It had nothing to do with HBK. And HBK was not feuded with McMahon at the time, so that still would have happened. All right. Do you think Jerry also writes in, and I'm going to clean this up because once again, this is Gary with grammar soup here. Do you think TNA will be as big as Nitro was if TNA keeps going in the right direction, like we've been saying it has been? Joe, do you think TNA will ever be as big as Nitro?
That's a very hard question to get because there's so many other factors. Do I think it has the potential to become the drunken what the fuck is going on fest? Sure, but I mean, I'm not trying to take a jab at TNA on that one. I think anything with horrendous management as WCW ended up with could get that way, but it's sure it'll get huge. eventually if the
Lee, what do you think?
I'm gonna say no. Are you still whinging?
Huh? No, go.
I heard Joe whinging.
Hell's a whinge?
No, sorry, complaining.
Oh, okay.
I don't think TNA will be as big as WCW. They don't, for kickoff, they don't have the funds. Because they've not, well, we don't actually know how much money they've got, but they don't have that too much. Because they can't move outside the impact zone. That's a big start. They've got the talent, but they've just not got much else. I'm not going to lie. You know, Spike TV is limiting them to just a certain rating. They will get nowhere near as many views as they will WCW did. I can't see it at the minute. If they keep going as they are, I can't see it at the minute. Unless something big changes, there's some form of like WWE collapses or whatever, but chances are, no.
Okay. Rob, I am willing to be 100%, I'm thinking I'm going to be 100% agreeing with you, with what you have to say. What do you think? Nitro ever be as big as TNA?
The potential is there. Like Lee said, some things do have to change. They do have to get a bigger TV network. Spike TV is definitely the anchor weighing them down at the moment. If they can get a bigger TV channel to carry them, they can increase their ratings, which will bring more money in, which could help them build up. I do think it's possible.
And by the way, I misspoke. It's TNA's biggest Nitro. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. It's a long road. You gotta keep in mind, TNA was not founded by the guy who invented 24-hour news, so it's gonna be a bit. I think they got the talent. It's gonna be slow growth, assuming, like we said, man, it's a long road ahead, assuming the stars align, everything works, etc. I really think that maybe they have a chance to, really grow, like there. Now we asked you guys, because it's Turkey Day in a couple days, what happened this year to make you thankful as a wrestling fan? You know what, let's just go to us first. Joe, what happened this year to make you thankful as a wrestling fan?
I don't...
Fine, you know what, I'll just read the fans so that way you guys get a chance to think about it. JMT5887 on Twitter said, thankful that 18 seconds created a megastar, referring to Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania win. Hayes Juge said, I'd love to butcher these again, on Twitter said, thankful for the talent that truly get it and bust their asses to be the best they can be. Ziggler's Queen 81 said the fact that Punk has been the champ for a whole year. No mention of Ziggler. On Facebook, Credo said Cena didn't win the WWE Championship? No, he didn't. Louis Alia, yeah. Louis said, I don't really feel thankful. I feel like I'm being punished for being a wrestling fan. Oh, that's harsh. Alright, Lewis. Jonathan said the return of Paul Heyman. Steve said CM Punk being the champ for the whole year. Pete said AJ's push because she's the little girl from Jersey who could. Nicholas said thankful to Jerry Lawler, who, let's face it, is a big time name that was working an indie schedule into his 60s, all while still being employed by WWE, lived to see another run in the business, which he loves so passionately, and is taking better care of his body. Now to you guys, Joe, what are you most thankful for?
Well, I can't say he's taking
care
of his body if he just had a heart attack. But, that being said, the fact that WWE is giving a new light on the tag team division, and it's starting to really not feel like they just were giving it a push just because of TV.
Okay. Lee, what are you most thankful for as a wrestling fan?
Well, since I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving because it's a made-up American thing, I would have to probably say, to be thankful for a wrestling fan, when that Jerry Lawler thing happened, I think we were kind of all in the same boat, and we all just, it was almost like everyone just came together for a minute. No one bickered, no one gave a shit about, if Cena was shit, if Punk was good, if Ziggler was amazing, if fucking Carly's an top star. It was just like, everyone came together, and I think we realized that actually shit's important, and this is not real life. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Jerry Lawler, getting well, because that was scary. That was genuinely scary moment, and we thought we may have something serious in our hands. So I'm gonna go with it.
Okay. Rob, what are you most thankful for this year?
Austin Aries.
Damn.
I think he's one of the big impact players that has really helped TNA turn the corner.
Okay, Garvin, what do you got?
Really, what I'm thankful for is that there are two promotions out there that are worth watching. You know, even when WWE can put out some bad stuff, TNA has really stepped up the game, produced some quality stuff outside of Aces and Eights. But overall, I'm just happy that TNA has finally turned that corner and are putting quality pay-per-views out every single month.
Okay.
Do you know what the one issue I have with what you just said is the fact that neither company has gained any more fan bases this year than the previous year. TNA is struggling and WWE is struggling.
Hey, I'm not speaking for the entire wrestling community. I'm speaking just for myself.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, I'll let you.
All right, so chat is saying, all right, the Chang Gang says he's not being sarcastic, but he says he's actually thankful for the AJ Cena storyline.
You are being sarcastic.
He's saying he's not, though. But there you are.
If he isn't being sarcastic, then...
Dude, I'd call 911
I'm
because... Dude, I'm sorry, man. If you're not being sarcastic, call 911 because you are clearly having a stroke. NXT, Year Punk, Storm vs. Rude, TNA finally upping their game when it comes to pay-per-views, and Miz recovering from his fall from grace after this past WrestleMania. Chat saying, Caitlin's thighs. Someone in the chat said discovering FCW. Alright, time for my sappy moment. I'm thankful once again. Oh, and chat is also saying the birth of the live chat hooligans. I don't think you can be thankful for yourself. It's kind of arrogant. I'm thankful for Lee, Garvin, Rob, Scott, Mike, Joe, Kevin when he's on, James Hornsby, everybody that we get on. The thing is if you want to see how much the show has grown and just how mind-blowing that is to myself, go back to episode 1 and listen to Joe and I drunkenly stumble through a show like this. It's impressive to see how far it's come. And especially in this past year, it's really, really done a lot. And that's a testament to you guys. That's a testament to the chat. That's a testament to everybody who's written in, even if it's just one shitty comment where you made fun of me. It's important to us because it allows us to see real time, the hard work that we do back here in the backstage and in the pre-shows and stuff, that we change and do stuff to make it better for us and for you. The fact that you're responding to that in any capacity is awesome. So I am most thankful for you guys. And chat summing up my point exactly. Chat pointing up my point exactly, saying I'm thankful for being able to ogle my cousin, me, on a weekly basis. Thank you so much, chat, for that. All right, it is time for Win Fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
Joe, your win of the week. Go, Joe.
I'm thankful for Skype because I haven't had a problem with it yet. No, I actually think the win of the week was the opening
There we are.
Survivor Series match. That was phenomenal. I don't know why I think I'm having a stroke. No, that match was it was good. It was interesting to see it be that one-sided, but at least it was tag team gold.
Okay, Lee, your win of the week. Go, Lee.
I think it's got to be CM Punk making it to 365 days with that title, because I honestly never thought he would do it. Ever. So, well played.
Rob, your win of the week.
Lee took mine. I was going to say CM Punk making it a whole year, but I've got another one. Another win of the week would be TNA remembering that they have more than 2 knockouts and actually bringing them in for a match. Hopefully that leads to them continuing to build something strong there. Okay.
Chat's, my win of the week is millions of dollars, Titus O'Neil. We called Austin Aries. We're calling, Titus O'Neil. WWE, if you got to be listening. This is your next guy. You got to do something with him. Chad saying win of the week was Caitlin's outfit and some guy named Lee. I'm assuming not our Lee, somebody else maybe. Ziggler and Cena sounds good besides the storyline. Fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week. Go, Joe.
My fail of the week is Great Khali beating Epico and Primo. The Great Khali shouldn't beat Epico and Primo. The Great Khali shouldn't, in fact, be able to beat a pizza.
With corn on it.
That's my job.
Yeah, let Lee beat the pizza. No, it just, I don't understand.
Alright. Lee, your fail of the week.
Yeah, I think Joe just pretty much took everybody's, so, my fail is going to be WWE itself, because on Sunday night, before Survivor Series started, they changed the YouTube pre-show approximately 3 times. It went from Cobra versus the Freeman Band to, Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, which changed, and then changed again, then changed again.
Well, that was down to Cody Rhodes possibly being concussed, right?
No.
That was
I thought it was.
entirely different match, Harrison.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about the YouTube pre-show?
Pre-show.
Oh, my bad.
Talk about
Sorry.
the YouTube pre-show.
No, when Lee talks, I'm barely paying attention. It's the translating. I gotta translate it.
Well, no. I mean, the only
Yeah. Anyway, Rob, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week goes to Harrison for not knowing which fucking match happened when on Survivor Series.
What? Alright,
Very
fine.
quiet.
That's all you got? That's fine.
That is pretty much all I've got, yeah.
My fail of the week. I don't really have one, honestly. I don't know. No, there was something. What was it? Let's from Survivor Series. Oh, my fail is, R-Truth, but don't take this the wrong way. Does it feel like, R-Truth, there's, like, you're going up against the U.S. Championship against Antonio Cesaro. R-Truth is not really that compelling. There's gotta be somebody else they can put in there. And there's a lot, we're always talking about a bevy of talent they could bring in, whether or not it's from FCW or from the lower card or something they could put in that situation, because Antonio's not working, R-Truth's not working. Let's not put them in a Survivor Series match. Sure, it's shorter than the Divas Championship match, but still, it was a waste of time. Chat saying fail of the week is me, plus no balloons for Punk. Fail of the week is that they agree with, you, Joe. Khali coming back, Kane almost killing Cody Rhodes, Rhodes getting the shot at Hardy for Final Resolution, and TNA not having anything for Styles and Daniels except throwing them at each other one last time, potentially. That is it. Well, here's the thing, guys. We are in the holiday season. Unfortunately, Christmas will fall on a Tuesday night. Because of that, we're going to be doing a best of show, but we need your help to decide what will go on it. What was your favorite moments from these weekly discussions that we've had this year? And what do you think that we should add to this particular special episode that's going to air on Christmas? If you guys have anything, write us in. You can go to ftwpodcast.com. All the links are right there. And that is it. That is this show. You can check out ftwpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. There's even a support tab where you can donate, buy merch, as well as links on iTunes and Stitcher so that you can rate us. We like no less than 4 stars because Rob beats us and sends us very, very nasty letters if we get less than that. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. The hooligans step up as they usually do. We record every FTW episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at ftwlive.com. Thank you guys again, and see you next Tuesday.
Okay. I need, like, an additional hand, I think.
Do you need an assistant?
No, it's gotta be there, Dan.
Dan?
Dan?
Yeah, Dan. It's gotta be there. Alright, so,
Is that what, when you do the stranger, is that who you imagine the stranger is? Some guy named Dan? I killed Joe.
Jesus Christ. With friends like us, who needs enemies,
You
man?
almost killed Rob.
What?
Oh.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Alright.
Are you guys waiting for me, or?